a wide range of stuff. Yes, recently the majority of stuff has been politically based, but I cover a whole range of stuff. Plain and simple. It keeps it interesting. Who else covers, because all of those three things, they interact with one another. They really do. They affect and effect how we live our daily lives. And this is stuff that you do it this way. Getting to hosted, H-O-S, hosted.ap.org. So AP has a story. AP, the Associated Press, has a story. Out of Russia. Ruskies, Putinland. It is, if you could get away with calling it Putin. President Putin of Putinland. Russian church, Russian court has ordered Russian church, but not Russian church, to shut down, to dissolve it itself. That's right. This is something that Leah Remini is going to love. Those of you who know, King of Queens, wife of James, big guy. Been in a few movies too. Paul Blart, Mall Cop, I think is. Well, he did a little TV show. King of Queens. Some people are thinking, what? Well, he lived in Queens, New York. That was the king of his own little castle, kind of like a modern day honeymooners. And Leah Remini, who's a pretty girl, she's very. Pretty girl. Pretty well. Once in this and if you've paid attention, she's written a couple of books. She has been very vocal and outspoken against this cult, is what she calls it. And now the Russian court. You can say, Putin was a part of it or Putin wasn't not a part. It doesn't matter. But look, the Russians are not very accepting of Islam either. By the way, I must say. As a matter of fact, if it weren't for Putin, who isn't a friend of Islam at all, by the way, they would have law, because the Orthodox Church, the Orthodox Christian Church, is very powerful in Russia again. Ever since the Iron Curtain came down, those people they've regained a lot of power, and they're not going to let it go this time. They're not going to let it go. Those bishop, I don't know what they. The Russian Orthodox Church, those people they're serious about their religion. And they have labeled this church a cult. So a Russian court has ordered the Church of Scientology in Moscow, Russia, to be dissolved. The Moscow City Court on Monday accepted arguments from the Justice Ministry that the term Scientology is trademarked and thus cannot be considered a religious organization covered by the Constitution's Freedom of Religious Clause. Prosecutors also said the church carried out activities in St. Petersburg, though it was only authorized to operate in Moscow. Several books by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard are banned in Russia for extremist content. A church representative said the decision would be appealed, although it the appealing process in Russia doesn't look good. All this is reported by the Russian news agency TASS. Well, like I said, Leah Remini would she'd be relishing in this news if I'm sure she knows about it. Look, Tom Cruise is the big notable star of Scientology. Used to be John Travolta. But, he's sort of, I don't know, I think he's still involved, but it just seems like he's sort of disappeared out of the Church of Scientology. Tom Cruise is still, he's the big kahuna of it still. He's a weird man. Those of you who don't know, Tom only about his real height is about. That Tom Cruise could have played one of the Lord of the Rings, because they were all like 7, 5'6", 5'5". They're all short guys. Elijah Wood's only like 5'6", 5'5". Really a little guy. He's like Kevin Hart, the black comedian. He's hilarious. He's like 5'5" too. He's real tiny. So Tom Cruise isn't all that much bigger. I mean, he looks bigger on the screen, but the man really, his real height is, look at him standing when he used to stand next to Nicole Kidman, who isn't 6 feet tall. But she looks like she was about a foot taller than Cruise whenever they were standing next to each other. And it wasn't high heels, it's because he's only 5'7". Like Sylvester Stallone is only 5'8". Look, Hollywood lies to us all the time. They put forth this false front. Now, it's one thing to do it in the movie. That's different. But when they carry that over into their so-called real life, and they make them appear bigger and stronger and faster and more powerful than they actually are, that is not reality. That's not moviedom. That's lying to the people. Hey, our government's very good at doing that. They take their cue after Hollywood, or does Hollywood take its cue after the government? Life imitating art, or is it art imitating life? You're probably saying, well, who cares? Well, it means a lot when you have people who are being lied to, but they think it's the truth. And then when you tell them the truth and show them the truth and prove the truth to them, they still won't believe it. That's the whole point of propaganda and all the lies that governments tell their people. Because if you tell a lie and make it big enough, and you tell it over and over again, over a long period of time, then it will not matter. One of Alinsky's rules for radicals, it will not matter if somebody gives them the truth, they will not believe it. So if people are lied to and told for the past 20 years that Tom Cruise is 6 feet tall, and then there is absolute pictorial proof that he's against the wall in a lineup, at a police station that shows he's only 5'7", people are not going to believe it. They're going to say it's a trick photography, or the measurements are off because Tom Cruise is 6 feet tall. Look, they did it with remember when Justin Bieber got arrested? They're still lying and saying Justin Bieber's 5'10". I mean, Justin Bieber is not 5'10". But you tell the lie long enough, and if he can pull off looking like it, then people are going to believe it. Was it I think I saw Justin Bieber is at 5'10", 175 pounds. I'm like, what? No. Hey, he's put on all that muscle, right? Out and everything. No, I don't. I don't think they say Tom Cruise is 6 foot, but I think that he's around. They sort of make him seem like he's like 5'11". Same with Sylvester Stallone, 5'11". I think some of the stuff that has been out there, Sylvester Stallone's like 5'11". He's not. He's 5'8". Tom Cruise is 5'7". It's a lie otherwise. And you cannot tell somebody who's been lied to for so long and believes that lie, you cannot tell them the truth and have them believe it. That's, you try telling people that Scientology is a cult and they do brainwashing, and there are people that say, no, it's L. Ron Hubbard. No, let me tell you, L. Ron Hubbard, he basically created Scientology on a dare and a bet. He was a failed author, which is really kind of... The man was a nut. But he used to run around because he was an atheist, and he used to say, I could invent a religion and millions of people would follow it. And then one day he actually decided to do it. That's how we got... Scientology is a mid-20th century invention of a science fiction and fantasy writer. Do people know? You try telling some people that, and because they've been lied to, kind of like Mormons and Islam. Not saying the two are the same. Mormons are pretty harmless. At least not literally. They may do that figuratively through, the shunning process if you don't. Amish, the shunning process, whatever. But they had, there was this one heathenistic person, devilish man, yeah. They are the prophet. God came down and turned them into a prophet, and they wrote all this, God gave them. Right, bingo, bang, new religion, Islam happened. And it's isn't it kind of convenient that Muhammad was the last prophet? The most important prophet and the last one. And nobody else after him could ever be construed as a prophet. Nope. Whatever Muhammad said goes forever. Think about that. But you try pointing out the truth. Literally. Often enough, over a extended period of time, people will. I don't. I don't. All I care about is the truth. The truth is, Putin says he's visiting Tehran right now. And he says that he will continue to bomb ISIS until he feels that they have been for bombing and downing of the Russian airline. Never will. Probably never will. And something when we come back from the break, something about Bernie Sanders. You won't believe what he says about Hillary Clinton. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.